Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Was Iron Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
It had been nearly 2 days since the fight with Sai and Suna. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and looked around the room and saw Tenten asleep beside him with her head on his shoulder. Jiraiya and the Sandaime were both on a twin-size bed, each asleep. Naruto looked outside and saw it was dark, and he replaced himself with a pillow on the floor, and Tenten shifted, pulling the pillow closer, and Naruto went toward the bathroom, and after taking a shower with a Kijunbun, he got dressed and came out to find everyone was still asleep. He then sneaked out of the hotel room and went to the roof and sat down on the ledge on the roof. About an hour later he said, "Hello Gaara." Gaara stepped out of the shadows and walked over and sat down beside Naruto and said, "Hello Naruto." Both remained silent for several minutes, and Naruto said, "Couldn't sleep." Gaara said, "It's hard sometimes. I'm used to never sleeping, so I am having to force myself to sleep when I do now." Naruto nods and said, "I know, I've been out nearly 2 days. Anything happen I need to know about?" Gaara rubbed his forehead and said, "Temari will be staying in Suna until the wedding. The Sandaime has given me the Kijunbun no jutsu to learn, providing I don't teach it to anyone else, which I agreed to." Naruto nods and Gaara pulled out a scroll and held it out, and he said, "Inside this scroll is most of Suna wind jutsu. Consider it a dowry for my sister. With you and her both being wind users, the chance your children will be is nearly guaranteed." Naruto took the scroll and thought, "Eva, can you copy this scroll and show it to me when I ask for it?" Eva said, "Yes." Naruto opened the scroll, and when Eva said finished, Naruto held it to Gaara and said, "The armor I wear has a way of recording anything and everything around me. I recorded the scroll so I can read it later. Let Temari keep the original hard copy so that way no one can steal it while I am away on missions." Gaara took the scroll and said, "Very well." Both remained silent, and Naruto asked, "What does Temari think of this though? I know Tenten was stuck at the stadium, so what does Temari think since she agreed?" Gaara picked up a stone and tossed it off the roof and said, "She claims she wishes to marry you for what you done for me as well as what you and Tenten tried to do for her. Kankuro and I are saddened by losing her, but we also gained 2 new siblings." Naruto sighed and said, "Jinchurikis. I hate that word with a passion, but we are what we are. We are sacrifices that have to do what has to be done so others may remain human. You were created to be the weapon of your village to protect it. You have become the Kazekage to complete that goal. I was chosen to save my village, and I have become Iron Man to complete that goal. Both of us have found new ways to do what we were created for, and yet." Gaara said, "And yet we continue the same path that was laid out before us at the beginning." Naruto nods and said, "I'll take care of her, Gaara, and try to make her happy." Gaara said, "I know. You are different than me. You're able to bring happiness to others. I hope that I can follow in your steps, my brother." Naruto saw the sun beginning to rise and said, "You already are Gaara. The people of Suna cheered for you and have begun to respect you. Show them why they are right to do so, and you will have the same ability as I do." Gaara smiled a small smile and said, "Look at us, a couple of teens acting like old men." Naruto sighed and said, "There are times I feel old, Gaara. That is why I try to act happy." Gaara said, "I know, because of the darkness we live in, we have aged in our minds faster than our bodies." Naruto stood up and stretched his muscles and said, "I need to go see the others so we can leave before it becomes too hot to travel. I wish you luck, Kazekage," holding out his hand. Gaara took the hand and said, "I await the day to congratulate you, Hokage," with a small smile. Naruto nods and Gaara left in a swirl of sand while Naruto walked back to his hotel room. When he got there, he saw the others were awake, and Tenten asked, "Where did you go?" The Sandaime said, "The highest place he could get so he could watch the sunrise, right?" Naruto said, "Yeah. Old habits die hard. I always like to watch the sunrise and set if I can." Tenten said, "Really? I never expected you to be a sun watcher." Naruto shrugged and said, "It's nothing really. So Gaara told me already that Temari's staying here until the wedding. Anything else I need to know?" The Sandaime said, "Tenten, Jiraiya, leave us a moment please." Tenten frowned and Jiraiya placed his hands on her shoulder and said, "Come on, let's give them time to talk," as he pushed her out of the room and closed the door behind them. After they were gone, Naruto crossed his arms and the Sandaime said, "I told you to kill him." Naruto said, "And I said I won't kill a Konoha ninja. I ended his ninja career and his ability to ever have children. That should be more than enough." With a glare, the Sandaime sighed and said, "The hospital sent me a message that Danzo had Sai killed and his body placed in a storage scroll. All you accomplished was making him suffer at the end." Naruto frowned and said, "No, I also saved myself. Killing to save people is one thing I will do, killing because of a threat someone might become to me is another. If I killed him, then I would be no better than the council and the villagers who wanted me dead because of what Kyuubi might do. I won't go down to that level." The Sandaime looked at Naruto a moment and smiled and said, "Wise choice." Naruto blinked and asked, "What?" The Sandaime said, "With everything that has been happening to you since you became a ninja, I had to test you and see if you were still the same boy I think of as my grandson, or if you were going down the same road many ninja fall down that turns them into things that are barely human. I am sorry for ordering you to kill Sai, but it was the only way I could see if you were still you." Naruto frowned and said, "So you used me?" The Sandaime sighed and said, "No. You've grown, Naruto, very quickly in fact, and I missed it where you grew. Before the Chunin exams I still saw you as the little boy who would ask to wear my hat and to take him out for ramen. I've done several things in trying to protect you that I am not proud of. Hiding your parents, the Kyuubi, and your treatment are among the ones I regret the most. I often wished I could have taken your dad's place and performed the sealing myself so you would have him in your life, but like you he was too noble." Naruto sat down on the bed and said, I hated you when I learned the truth about my parents like I hated you for Kyuubi. I questioned if you really cared for me or if you were only nice to me to lower my guard so you could someday kill me. If it wasn't for Eva I might have become like Gaara was. She helped me deal with all my hate and made me realize that you did what you did to protect me because you cared for me. I know I was a headache at times and there were times I must have broke your heart with the suffering I went through. But I want you to know that you are just as much a grandfather to me as you are to Konohamaru." Sarutobi sat down beside Naruto and said, "I made the same mistake with you as I did with my own son Asuma. I let my duties to the village rule my duties to family. For me and Asuma is formed a gap that will never be filled, but over time we have built a bridge. A gap has formed between you and I as well, but I hope we can either fill it back in or form a bridge." Naruto laid back on the bed and was silent a moment and said, "Mint and cloves." The Sandaime smiled and pulled out his pipe and lighted it, and Naruto closed his eyes and said, "Only 3 things have ever made me feel at peace in my life. Ramen, watching the sun rise or set, and your pipe. It reminds me of when you held me in your arms as a small boy and would read me stories or let me pick out which team would have to chase Tora." The Sandaime said, "Or the time stamp that mission an S-rank mission." Naruto chuckled a few moments and looked at the ceiling and said, "Nearly all my secrets are out now. If it wasn't for my luck I would have lost that match to Sai. He had me with that ink." Sarutobi said, "I know, you've always been lucky." Naruto sighed and said, "But not this time. Temari and Tenten. I don't know what to do. None of us love each other, Tenten becoming my closest friend in the short time we've been together, and I feel I can trust her, but trust and love are not the same thing." Sarutobi sighed and said, "But there is nothing we can do. We played all our cards and now it's time to see who is going to win. Both girls have feelings for you, Naruto. Temari has her gratitude for helping her brother when no one else would, and Tenten got a connection to you that I don't know, but she willing to put her heart into this." Naruto frowned and said, "Why can't things be simple? I have a friend in Konoha who is probably going to hate me because of Temari, then Dustin is going to kill me for getting his daughter involved in this whole mess. Plus I have to figure out what to do about everyone knowing about dad and mom, and people now know about Eva to an extent. I used everything I knew in that battle, Gigi. I don't know if I should be a Chunin with as sorry as my skills are now." The Sandaime placed his hands on Naruto's shoulder and said, "You are more than Chunin, Naruto. That match was an Anbu level fight. I honestly had no idea you were that good. You're right though, your skills are low for what you must face. Your enemies grow in numbers every day. I received a message from Konoha while you were asleep. Orochimaru has placed a bounty on your head. He knows about Iron Man and you being one in the same. Then you have a Katsuki after you, and now that your family name is out, you will gain your parents' enemies both in and outside of Konoha. Naruto looked down and asked, what should I do then? The Sandaime said, know your enemy and know yourself. Find naught in fear for 100 battles. Know yourself but not your enemy. Find level of loss and victory. Know thy enemy but not yourself. Wallow in defeat every time. Naruto blinked and said, that's some more of the heaven and earth thing, isn't it? Sarutobi nods and said, yes, you know what skills you have and you know who some of your enemies are, learn about them from wherever you can so you can prepare for them while you prepare yourself as well. You have 4 sources of information of Orochimaru at your disposal, Jiraiya, Tsunade, myself and Anko. We all have a connection to Orochimaru, learn what we know of him and you will be better prepared when you face him again. You know Kisame and Itachi, read the bingo book on them and learn from those who can fight them. For Itachi you have the perfect sensei already in Guy who has made a career out of defeating the Sharingan. For Kisame learn more Kenjutsu and water and wind jutsu. Naruto asked, what about my other enemies? Sarutobi touched his forehead and said, focus on the ones you know and worry about the ones you don't later. With time comes age and with age comes experience. When you can defeat the 3 you know, the 100 you don't will be easier to prepare for. Naruto nods and said, thanks Gigi. The Sandaime said, that's what I am here for, grandson. Well, I think it's time we should get ready to leave. Naruto said, yeah, I want to get across the desert before the afternoon heat hits. The Sandaime said, I agree, my bones are not as young as they used to be. Naruto said, yeah, 300 years ago, as he laughed and ran to the door only to be hit on the head by the Sandaime who appeared in front of him and said, I may be old but I can still bend you over my knee. Naruto laughed and opened the door and saw Jiraiya and Tenten leaning against the far wall of the hall and he asked, so are you both ready? Tenten nods and Jiraiya said, we been ready since yesterday Gaki. Why did you sleep so late anyways? Naruto shrugged and said, I had 6% chakra left after the fight with Sai. I should have been back at 100% yesterday but for some reason wasn't. Anyways, let's go. Coming Gigi. The Sandaime said, yes, as he stepped out of the hotel room and the group made it out of the hotel and a few people bowed to them and soon they made it to the gates and saw the Sand Sibs standing there and Gaara walked forward and said, I wish you safe journey and good luck, as he bowed slightly toward the group before shaking hands with Naruto. The Sandaime said, and I wish you a wise and noble rule of your village Kazekage-san, as he bowed slightly. Kankuro walked over and looked at Naruto in the eyes and asked, what was that armor? Naruto said, it's Iron Man and that is all I will say makeup boy. Kankuro said, it's war paint. You better be good enough for my sister. Naruto said, I'm not, as he walked over to Temari who was looking at him. Temari said, I guess that we are officially engaged. Naruto said, seems that way. Temari looked at Tenten and said, you going to break him in for me Panda-chan? Tenten shot her a glare and Temari said, both of you take care. I've always knew I would be in a political marriage so I'm not surprised about it. I am surprised that I get to sleep with my husband's mistress though. Tenten growled and said, I am not the mistress sandwich, you are. Temari said, whatever floats your boat Panda-chan. Naruto slapped his head and said, damn fangirls. Earning him a lump on the head from both girls who smiled and Temari said, well I guess this is goodbye, as she leaned forward and kissed Naruto on the cheek and began to walk away. Jiraiya and the Sandaime both began to walk away as well and Tenten was glaring at Temari when Naruto touched her arm and said, come on, as they began to walk away. After they were gone Temari sighed and Gaara placed his hands on her shoulder and said, he will make a good husband for you and her a good sister. Temari said, I know. I just wish we could have known each other longer before the wedding and had met under better conditions. I may never tell her but I respect Tenten more than any other Konoha Kunoichi. Naruto is also cute and I can relate to him. Gaara said, yes, I like my future brother and sister. And will kill any who harm them, or you both, as he looked at his sibs. Kankuro said, hey, we're not defenseless you know. We can take care of ourselves. Gaara said, I know. But beating your meat is not as good as beating an enemy. Temari burst out laughing and Kankuro said, bro, that was low. Gaara pulled out a copy of Ica Paradise and said, actually according to this being low would be sending you on a mission to seduce Chio. Kankuro paled and Temari, who was read seeing the book, burst out laughing again, and the book fell to the ground and showed another book inside that said 10,000 Ways to Insult People as Jokes, as he read it. Kankuro asked, "Where did you get that book, Gaara?" Gaara said, "It was in the stadium after Naruto beat Sai. I figured nobody wanted it, well I got work to do," as he shushan away. Temari picked up the Ica Ica Paradise and Kankuro said, "Hey, that's volume 14. I've been waiting for it to come out." Temari looked up and said, "Get your own," as she walked away reading it. Kankuro thought, "Nah, I'll just wait to borrow it from your collection," as he went to buy some more face paint. The group traveled in silence across the desert and reached the border town they stayed in before by 2 in the afternoon. As they entered the town, Naruto stretched and yawned and said, "So what now?" Tenten asked, "Are you really that tired? You've been yawning almost ever since we left Suna." Naruto rubbed his head and said, "I don't know what's wrong, I just feel tired and bored." Tenten shook her head and said, "Whatever." The Sandaime said, "We are going to stop and eat lunch before heading on our way back to Konoha. We can stop before dark to set up camp and be back in the village by noon tomorrow." Naruto nods and reached for his arm, and out popped his frog wallet, and he frowned as he looked in it and said, "Nothing too expensive, please. I spent most of my money." Jiraiya said, "Don't worry about it, Gaki, I'm paying this time for all of us." Naruto looked around and frowned a moment and said, "Don't even think it, Ero-sanin. I won't let Tenten be dragged to that kind of place." Tenten blinked and asked, "What are you talking about, Naruto?" as she looked at Naruto, who was glaring at Jiraiya. Naruto said, "Look around you and tell me, what district in this town are we in?" Tenten blinked and looked around a few moments, and her eyes went wide and said, "Oh." Sarutobi chuckled as Jiraiya frowned, and he said, "Looks like the students surpassed the master this time, Jiraiya." Jiraiya said, "Fine, but we're going to a cheap stand instead of a restaurant, Gaki," as he led him away from the red light district. They soon were in a booth at the back of a local stand that was empty besides the guy at the counter 30 feet away, with Naruto sitting beside Tenten, and Jiraiya and Sarutobi both were drinking a little sake and eating several slices of beef, and Tenten slowly ate her stir-fry chicken. Naruto ate some turkey and he took a sip of water and said, "Jiraiya-sensei," making everyone at the table look at him. Jiraiya said, "What, Gaki?" in a serious voice. Naruto said, "I got a couple of questions about sealing I was hoping you might be able to answer." Jiraiya chuckled and said, "Really? Do tell what the great Jiraiya can answer for you." Naruto frowned and said, "Can't you be serious just once, pervert?" Sarutobi said, "I am afraid this is serious for him, Naruto." Naruto sighed and said, "Fine. I was wondering if it's possible to store chakra itself in a seal engraved on an object, and if so, does it get weaker over time if not being used?" Jiraiya blinked a moment and said, "A seal, no matter if it is engraved on something or drawn on an object, holds whatever is stored in it until the seal is destroyed or the item is removed from the seal. The only difference is if a seal is engraved in something, then there has to be blood in the grooves of the seal as a medium." "Why do you ask?" Naruto bit his lip and said, "You all remember when I was fighting Sai and a clone of Tenten appeared and stopped his blade?" Everyone nodded, slowly looking at him, and Naruto said, "Well, the clone was created by Eva using my chakra because my hands were stuck underground and I could not form any seals myself." Sarutobi asked, "How was she able to do that, Naruto?" looking interested. Naruto said, "Thanks to how we broke the Rasengan down so I could learn it so quick, Eva, and I learned to read chakra flow and chakra patterns instead of levels. We've bounced a couple of ideas off each other about using this to help me train, which is how I was able to learn that sand walking so easily without any instructions. I just had to mold my chakra to mimic the sand nins, and after a few tries I got it. Since she records everything around me, including my own body, she has recorded the way my body molds chakra to make a Kijbunshin as well as my sexy no jutsu. She combined them quickly and had the chakra manifest itself in front of me to stop that attack. It wasn't stable since I was so low on chakra, but it was enough for that moment." Tenten said, "So Eva molded your chakra to form that clone?" Naruto said, "Yeah." Jiraiya asked, "What does that have to do with what you were asking about the seal?" Naruto said, "Remember when I had some of my Kijbunshin transform into the demon windmill shurikens? Well, I knew that would work because I transformed myself into them before to save Kakashi's life from Zabuza when he trapped Kakashi in a water prison. Thanks to using that strategy as well as what Eva did, we think we might have a new jutsu or attack for me to use. Actually several if it works. As he rubbed his temples with his hands while he closed his eyes. Sarutobi said, if what works Naruto? Watching Naruto actions. Naruto said, well, since I can changed into a windmill shuriken, I think my Kichibunshin might be able to transform into other objects like say a senbon needle. I could then load a henge senbon into my launcher and shoot a clone at my enemy, and since my enemy thinks it's a senbon, will move out of the way or get ready to deflect it. My Kichibunshin can at the last second transform into its real self and surprise attack my enemies. Jiraiya said, that might work as long as nobody sees you make the Kichibunshin and load it. Naruto said, yeah, that brings me back to the question I was asking. What if I were to say store some of my chakra ahead of time in a seal on something small like stone or something like that? Eva thinks she could repeat the process that she used to create the Kichibunshin that she made against Sai without the sexy no jutsu, this time by adding one of the nanites that make up the armor with only the instructions to mold the chakra for the jutsu, and since it's part of the armor, as long as it's in 100 yards of me, the nanites can receive orders from Eva to mold the chakra stored in the object into a clone and summon the clone at the location the stone is without draining my chakra levels because it would already have its own chakra to use. Quote, all three other members of the group were wide-eyed and Jiraiya said, that could actually work. Naruto winced as he holds the back of his head and said, that's what I am hoping, and if it works. It's just part of an idea we had came up with. What I am really hoping to do is be able to create a single clone that way, but have it made like the clone I had fight Neji at the exams. That clone had enough chakra it could do my jutsu as well as power up the armor it was wearing. That could be a new form of bunshin. Making all of them gasp as they thought of that. The Sandaime thought a moment and said, okay, let's think about this for a second, Naruto. That clone you made against Neji, how much chakra did it have? Naruto's shoulder twitched, making both Jiraiya and Sarutobi glance at each other as Naruto said, 50% of my total chakra at that time. My control has went up as well as my reserves since then. The Sandaime said, all right, so far that would be a standard Kichibunshin then. Did you get the memories back from it? As he sees Naruto rub his shoulder that was twitching. Naruto nods and Sarutobi asked, since anything a person is holding or has on when they make a clone appears, the armor also appeared, and because of the armor it was able to withstand several strikes that could have destroyed it normally. After it absorbed so much chakra it became unstable and exploded, right? Naruto said, yeah, but it also didn't use any jutsu. It could have if I would have known anything else besides henge, Kichibunshin and replacement that could have been helpful against Neji. His bloodline made the hidden mist jutsu useless. The Sandaime nods and said, that's true, and besides the effect the armor gives you, everything is showing a regular Kichibunshin. Now the creation process is different, but as Jiraiya can tell you, it's possible to seal a Kichibunshin in a seal and it can be released with the right trigger, but it's even more unstable than a regular Kichibunshin because when it moves the first time it cancels. Now if your idea of how to activate the jutsu works, it won't weaken you, but the question of if you got its memories back or not is in question, and what effects it has on you mentally. How long would it take Eva to create the nanite for the seal, Naruto? Eva told him the answer and Naruto said, 10 minutes after she scanned the seal, since it would actually be 13 nanites instead of 1 control and 12 drone nanites. We would then have to charge it with some of my chakra to test it. The Sandaime looked at Jiraiya, who said, I can probably have it ready this afternoon, but I would need some of his blood for it, and if it worked we would need to add his blood to the metal during tempering of whatever weapon he wanted it to be on. The Sandaime said, well, work on it, and if it works, Naruto, then what are you going to call the new bunshin? Naruto thought a moment and said, Chu Fuan Bunshin. Tenten said, Super Seal Clone. I guess that would be right in a way, and also hiding the truth about what is really going on. Naruto said, yeah. Eva and I were thinking if it works I'm going to get some of those mini shurikens that you have at your family shop and have the seal placed on them. Tenten thought a moment and said, but those things are only the size of a coin. Why those? Naruto said, because Eva can design a shoulder launcher like the Senbon launcher, and with a simply seal line off the network of seals I already have on my body, she can store the chakra in them while I rest or not needing my chakra at the time, and that way if I get in another situation where I can't make the hand signs for a Kichibunshin, then I can fire one of those at an enemy, and they are so small that it would be hard to see them until it's too late and give me an advantage. At least that's the idea. I think. as he grabbed his head very quickly like he was hurting. Jiraiya frowned and said, Naruto. Naruto, look at me. Naruto looked up and Jiraiya saw bloodshot eyes and his pupils were dilated. Jiraiya got up and raised Naruto's head and looked at his eyes and pulling Naruto's eyelids back a little and he said, close your eyes until I tell you to stop, Naruto, as he began to flash through hand signs. Naruto began to mumble sluggishly and Tenten asked, what's wrong, Jiraiya-sama? Jiraiya's hand glowed green and he hovered it over Naruto's head and he frowned a moment and said, Sensei, we need to get him back to Konoha to Tsunade. I'm going to summon Gambunta to get us there. Sarutobi asked, what's wrong with Naruto, as he saw Naruto swaying from left to right. Jiraiya was silent a moment and said, I know what it is but I don't know how he came into contact with it. Red spice. Sarutobi's eyes got wide and asked, are you sure, Jiraiya? Tenten, who had stood up and said in a demanding voice, will you both tell me what's going on? What's wrong with my fiancé? Sarutobi frowned and said, go, Jiraiya, I will take Tenten with me. Jiraiya knocked Naruto out with a chop to the back of his neck and picked him up over his shoulder and shushined away. After they were gone, Sarutobi looked at Tenten, who was glaring at him, and he sighed before he said, red spice was originally a drug that was created by the Nara clan before they came to Konoha. Back then, from what I was told when they joined Konoha, that they created it because their clan had a problem with ADHD. They would jump into action without thinking or let their mind wander during combat, and it nearly destroyed their clan before they created that drug. After they created it, they were able to calm down and think clearly, but then they learned that it had a side effect. Their children would think clearly since they mixed it with their bottles when they are still infants, but then they would become lazy unless they had something to keep them motivated. They still use the drug but under the watch of a trained medic. The Nara clan is known for the great minds, but thanks to the drug they are also known for the great laziness. Tenten frowned and thought a moment and then she said, so Naruto somehow got this red spice. Wait a minute. How long does it take this stuff to take effect? The Sandaime said, usually a few hours. Why? Tenten said, you told me that it was strange Naruto slept like he did in Suna after his fight with Sai, but I know for a fact that he wasn't like that until we got to Suna. The Sandaime thought about it a moment and said, that's true. He was yawning a lot on the way here, like he was tired even after sleeping so long, but on the way to Suna he didn't, which means he had to come into contact with it while in Suna. Tenten asked, what does red spice look like and how does it get into the human body? Sarutobi frowned and said, as the name suggests, it's a red spice. Usually it is given with milk as an infant, but when it was created originally it was taken with food. Suna delight. It was the only thing Naruto ate when we were in Suna. Damn it, this is my fault. I got that for him and you. I thought it was strange that Vendor was near our hotel, but who would want to do that to Naruto and why? Tenten bit her lip and asked, are you sure the target was Naruto and why am I not affected from it? Surely they couldn't have known which one he was going to take. The Sandaime said, yeah. It takes certain levels of adrenaline to activate the drug, and unless you, me, and Jiraiya were in life and death battles in the first 24 hours after taking it, then it wouldn't affect us. Infants have the necessary level of adrenaline when they are learning to crawl, which is why the Nara give it to them when they are so young. The question is who would gain the most from this and why? Tenten frowned and said, Danzo. He knew Naruto was going to fight Sai, so he arranged it for Naruto to get it while making sure that I stayed out of a fight that could have triggered the drug. Sarutobi frowned and said, maybe, but why would he want to give it to Naruto? It doesn't make any sense. It helped calm him down so he could think clearly, which is a good thing, and why he was able to come up with the idea for that Bunshin jutsu. I don't see what Danzo could gain from giving it to Naruto, which is why I doubt it was Danzo, since he only does something if it aids him. If it's not him, then who? Tenten said, I don't know, but why was Naruto grabbing his head and swaying like that? Sarutobi blinked and said, it's a side effect of the drug. It fires more of the synapses in the brain, making you think clearer. Most people use one side of their brain more than the other. This drug makes it where you use both sides equally, so that means normally one side of the brain is weaker than the other, and like most muscles, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. While the drug is making the one that is weaker stronger, it causes pain and sometimes brain tumors and brain damage. That is why Naruto was in pain. That is another reason why the Nara clan does it while still infants. Infants don't use their brains much, so there is very little chance of danger to the child's health, though they are watched for the first week after they are given it to be safe. Tenten asked, will Tsunade-sama be able to help him? With worry in her voice. Sarutobi said, yes, it will take about 5 days for the effects to stabilize and he will be in danger, but with a little care with medical chakra it takes the risk away. Tenten asked, how can you be so calm about this? I feel like I am going to go crazy because I'm worried about him. The Sandaime said, years of sending people to their deaths, Tenten. I am worried, but I have trained so long to hide my emotions. Tenten frowned and said, can we go? I want to check on him just in case. The Sandaime said, very well, but I want you to think on the way back. Do you really wish to marry Naruto? If not, I can arrange it where everyone thinks that you only wanted to marry Naruto so you could compete against Temari to get revenge for losing to her during the exams. Tenten bit her lip and said, can you let me think about it? I need to talk to Naruto also before I can decide. Sarutobi said, very well, as he paid and they left. When Naruto awoke, he found himself in a white room and he blinked and looked around the room and saw there were several things that indicated the room was a hospital room, but his eyes stopped on the figure that was sitting in a chair in the corner and he said, hello Weasel. I thought you died several years ago, with confusion on his face. The Anbu in a weasel mask looked at Naruto and said, I was on a mission since then away from here, Naruto-kun. How are you feeling? Naruto said, like my head is going to explode. What happened? Weasel said, sorry about that. It's sort of my fault that happened. Naruto asked, what happened and what do you mean it was your fault? Weasel said, I'm a deep cover spy for both Sandaime-sama and Jiraiya-sama. Because of you my cover was blown, so I had to contact them and inform them about it, but the problem is that as part of my cover story I am listed as a missing nin. I couldn't just walk up to them in Suna. There is a drug called red spice that is used by a clan here in Konoha. Since it is a rare item, to get a hold of it was decided that it would be a way to set up a contact between me and them should something important come up. I had to hypnotize the food vendor that Sandaime-sama and Jiraiya-sama got the food from to put the drug on top of the food because both would have instantly recognized it before eating it. Unfortunately the food was for you, so you got the drug and because of it you're in the hospital. Naruto heard Eva in his head and he said, so you were a spy in Akatsuki. Weasel stiffened and said, yes, though how did you know? Naruto said, once Gigi or Ero-sanan confirm your story then I will tell you. Sorry, but you have to understand. Weasel pulled his mask away and said, yes. They should be back shortly anyways. Naruto frowned as he asked Eva how long was he asleep and he said, so I have been here 2 weeks. Why was I here that long and why did I sleep that long? A voice from the door said, that would be because of me, Naruto. As he looked over and saw Tsunade coming in with Jiraiya and the Sandaime. Sandaime asked, why have you removed your mask, Itachi? Itachi said, he knew who I was already since he knew that I was a spy in Akatsuki. Jiraiya said, yeah, Eva has all kinds of ways of detecting who people are. Eva his armor. How you feeling, Gaki? Naruto said, like my head is going to explode, what the hell did that drug do to me? With a frown at Jiraiya for telling about Eva. Tsunade said, it's a drug designed by the Nara clan for their safety. Normally the drug would make it where your brain gathers information easier and calms a person down with a minor side effect of headaches the first week they take it. Naruto said, and what about me? I'm not exactly normal, am I? Tsunade said, in your case it was nearly fatal. Making Naruto eyes widen. Naruto asked in a quieter voice, what do you mean fatal? Tsunade said, the drug forces the brain to release a chemical that calms a person down. From stories Sensei told me about how you were before you received Eva, you were how the Nara clan used to be, very hyperactive. The drug calms them down that much. Now the problem is your body is hyperactive for 2 reasons, one because it is in your genes from your parents and the second is Kyuubi. His chakra increases your adrenaline to make you stronger and faster. Now the problem came up is that the chemical the drug release into your brain to calm you down was fighting against Kyuubi chakra that was trying to heal you. Basically a war was going in your brain. Luckily the idiot over here knocked you out and brought you here quickly and I checked you myself. I had to create an antidote for the drug that stopped it and kept you in a medical coma for all this time. Anyone else would have let the drug run its course, not realizing the Kyuubi chakra had an effect on it. Jiraiya and Eva both worked with me to keep Kyuubi chakra away from your brain as much as possible, but now the drug has been neutralized. Naruto frowned and asked, what side effects did it have on me? Tsunade said, while the drug was fighting Kyuubi chakra, it was still doing what it was also designed to do, which is make it easier for you to remember things so you will have better memory and be able to think clearer. It won't instantly make you smarter, but you should be able to remember things that you read or experience better to help get smarter. You should be back to your normal hyperactive self though. Besides that, Jiraiya said, I do have some good news, Gaki. Eva and I worked on new idea for that new Bunshin jutsu, and after some work we were able to make a tester with several concealment seals added to the storage seal, so it will be harder for people to figure it out. All we have to do now is have you test it, and if it works then Eva said you can have it for your arsenal at full strength in a few days. She has the tester in your armor somewhere. Naruto thought a moment and said, Chufuan Bunshin, cool, as he stretched and several bones popped. The Sandaime asked, because of you being in the hospital I have not informed anyone about your engagement to Temari or Tenten yet. Tenten is waiting to speak to you about if you want to still marry her. She's been here every day checking on you and talking to you while you were asleep. Naruto thought, so those weren't dreams then. Eva said, no, I was able to change them into electrical impulses for your brain to see them. I thought you would want to know about them. Naruto thought, thanks love, and said, thanks. Can you bring her in? I want to talk to her, alone. Everyone nods and Naruto looked at Itachi, who was putting on his mask, and asked, what's going to happen with Weasel? All of them stopped and Tsunade said, I guess I forgot to mention that. When we inform the council about your marriage to Temari, we will also be informing him about the truth about the Uchiha massacre and Danzo, though he has not returned to the village. Naruto frowned and asked, what's that asshole got to do with any of this, and where is he? Itachi turned and started to say something when the Sandaime said, Itachi didn't kill the Uchiha clan. He took the blame to save Sasuke from going after the real killer of the Uchiha clan, Danzo, who had his root Anbu kill them. Naruto frowned and said, so that's the official cover story you're going to use. What's the truth though? Come on, give me some credit. Besides Kakashi team, Itachi here was one of the only Anbu I trusted when I was younger, so I know when he is hiding something, and I've been around you enough to know when you're also hiding something, usually. Kyuubi and my parents were two lies. I don't know if I just didn't want to admit you knew or honestly didn't know you were lying. I know you're lying about what really happened because your right pinky was twitching. Gigi. Everyone was looking at the Sandaime, who nods and said, do you agree for him to know the truth, Itachi? Itachi said, yes. For the future he needs to know he can trust me. Sarutobi said, very well. The story about Danzo and his root Anbu was true for the most part. They did kill the Uchiha clan because they were preparing to kill the council and me and take over the village. I did not want it to happen, but my two advisors Koharu and Homaru agreed with Danzo that it needed to be done, so reluctantly I agreed. Itachi here was a spy in his clan reporting to me about their plans. I had Itachi lead the assault to bypass the Uchiha clan security. It was supposed to be only 21 people die that day. Itachi father and the Uchiha council, no one else. Danzo however had other plans. When Itachi came to report to me the mission was a success and the leaders of the rebellion were dead, Root returned and wiped out the rest of the Uchiha clan except for Itachi and Sasuke, who was at the academy. Naruto said, so Itachi took the entire blame to stop Sasuke from going after Danzo. Sarutobi nods and Naruto said, I see, so what is going to happen now? I figure what you just told me is an S-rank secret. Sarutobi said, yes. Now after talking it over with Tsunade we have decided to change the teams around a little bit. Tsunade has taken Sakura as her apprentice after an indecent with Team 7. Because of her witnessing your healing ability, Tsunade has figured out a way to perform a surgery on Lee to heal his damage from Gaara attack on him during the exams, and she has successfully completed the surgery, and next week he should be able to return to light duty, and a week after that he should be able to return to full-time duty. As such, I have decided to pull Neji and Sasuke from Kakashi and place them under Guy with Lee. Naruto frowned and said, I have a problem with that. No offense Itachi, but your brother is a selfish little asshole who doesn't care about anyone but himself. He's already stolen part of Fuzzy Brow's taijutsu and used it to beat his opponent during the preliminaries with his Sharingan, and Lee only can use taijutsu. Sasuke will just steal the rest of Lee taijutsu and treat him like shit afterwards. The Sandaime said, I am aware of that, Naruto, but because of the incident that I mentioned with Sakura, Sasuke Sharingan has been sealed and both Jiraiya and Itachi feel that he should keep it sealed off until he can learn several lessons that he has ignored about comrades and loyalty, so without his Sharingan he will have to learn things the old-fashioned way. Naruto rubbed his head and said, okay. Sorry about that, I just didn't want to see all Lee's hard work taken away like Sasuke did. I may not know Fuzzy Brows very well, but after seeing what Gaara can do I respect Lee for nearly defeating him. Sarutobi said, I will be sure to inform him of that. Now where was I? Oh yes, Team 9 under Guy will be Lee, Neji, and Sasuke. Kakashi, after a review of how much he failed both you and Sakura, has had several penalties given to him. Because of the danger to you because of Akatsuki, Itachi and Kakashi will be assigned as your sensei while you are still Jiraiya apprentice. There is not much he can teach you at this time. You have already seen and acknowledged that most of your attacks are highly demanding on your chakra reserves. With either, taijutsu is either going to be a secondary nature or a support skill. Ninjutsu and kenjutsu will be your area of knowledge with seals as a support. Thanks to Eva, Jiraiya can leave behind manuals that she can help you understand seals better while he continues his spy network, though he will leave you scrolls to work with until you are older where he can teach you a few things that can't be taught for now. Now, as I was saying, Team 7 will be you, Tenten, and Sakura under Itachi and Kakashi. Naruto frowned and said, so Sakura. Tsunade said, before you continue Naruto, I think you should know that Sakura is changing. Because of what happened with Sasuke and now that she knows how badly Kakashi was screwing you and her over, she wants to prove that she is a better ninja. The training I have been giving her in this short time has been brutal and she taken it without complaint, often leaving ready to pass out. Naruto said, I wasn't going to say anything bad about her, Sakura strong in her own way, but what I was going to ask was she upset about not being with Sasuke. Tsunade said, actually, I think being away from him will be the best thing for her and she is actually scared of him right now, so I wouldn't worry about her being upset. Naruto said, I see, that means she won't know about Kyuubi. Tsunade said, that is something only you can tell her about Naruto. Naruto said, yeah. For now I don't trust her enough with that. I will watch her and if she really has changed then I might, but not yet. I know Ten-chan and Shino accept me and I think Shikamaru does, but I haven't really had a chance to talk to him yet to find out. The Sandaime said, he does. Both him and Shino surprised me with them figuring it out along with your parents while you were retrieving Tsunade. Naruto nods and said, I guess that is all I need to know. Wait, what did you mean thanks to me your cover was blown? As he looked at Itachi. Itachi said, Kisame was ranting over losing his arm and they asked where I was when he lost the arm and I told them I was at the border to Fire Country getting some Pocky. Everyone knows that is my addiction, so usually they would have accepted that answer. Unfortunately for me, the town I told them I was in getting the Pocky had been attacked the day before and all the stores were closed. The leader of Akatsuki asked what was the town like and I told him nothing unusual. He attacked me and I was lucky to escape using an exploding tag to close the entrance to the cave we were in, trapping them inside while I ran. I know all of them most likely escaped though. Naruto nods and Tsunade said, you can be released this afternoon, but we have a council meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow you have to attend. Don't speak unless spoken to and only answer the questions that are asked. Naruto frowned and said, what if I don't want to answer something they ask? The Sandaime said, answer only what you feel you should, that is in your best interest. Naruto nods and Tsunade said, well, let's leave the couple alone. As she opened the door and left with everyone else, with Itachi having his mask on but Jiraiya, who said, I will leave you some books on what to do on the honeymoon gaki. Naruto screamed, pervert, as the door closed. A few moments later the door opened and Tenten walked in with a couple of yellow flowers and asked, how are you feeling? Naruto said, like I got kicked by Lee in the head, with a small smile. Tenten smiled and said, I was worried about you, as she put the flowers in some water and put them by his bed. Naruto grabbed her hand softly and said, I know. Eva was able to show me your visits while I was in my coma. I thought they were dreams, but I am glad they weren't. I never really had anyone who came by to see me when I was in the hospital before besides Gigi and maybe Ayami and her dad. Tenten sat down on the bed with her cheeks a light pink and said, so you know about. Naruto said, you rubbing my whiskers making me purr and the light kiss you gave me. Tenten cheeks got redder and said, yeah. Naruto nods and both were silent a moment and Naruto finally said, Tenten. I never been good at feelings because of my life. I really don't know what love it or friendship for that matter. But I do have feelings for you. I don't know what they are, but I feel I can relax around you and that you won't judge me. I've told you things I haven't told anyone else except Eva. I do know that I don't want you to be unhappy or hurt, so if you don't want this marriage thing, then I will accept your answer as long as we can be friends. You're precious to me and have become a lifeline to me like Eva is. Tenten's cheeks were flushed and she said, I tried to be nice to you at first because we were teamed together and I was curious how you defeated Neji. Then when I learned about the Kyuubi and heard your words about sacrifices and effect you had on Gaara, I saw a side of you that I never thought possible, so I wanted to get to know you better. When I saw the way you became in Wave, I saw what the people there saw. When we talked on that cliff, I felt like I was seeing the real you, and then we had to fight Kisum. You were worried about me more than yourself. I decided after that I would return the favor and protect you. That was why when I heard about you having to marry Temari, I felt like it was you being a sacrifice again and I couldn't take it. You sacrificed so much already, I just had to save you some way. When you were fighting Sai, I was afraid you were going to be hurt badly, but then when you had the spell from that drug, my heart wouldn't stop worrying about you. You have a gift that makes it easy for people to want to be around you just by giving you a chance. I talked with Tsunade-sama and Shizune when they came by to check on you, as well as with Sandaime-sama and Jiraiya-sama. I talked with my dad as well and he respects you. My dad's friendly with a lot of people, but he hardly respects anyone. The fact that you earned his respect says something about you. I know that neither of us may be in actual love with one another right now, but I feel we both have feelings for each other. I think that with time they can grow into love, and that is part of what marriage is. What I am trying to say is that I want to marry you if you will have me. I want to learn all the sides of you and have you learn about me. I don't want to be behind you or ahead of you. I want to be beside you, and I know I have to share you with Temari, but like my dad, it is hard to earn my respect, and though I act like I'm pissed at her, I do respect her. Doesn't mean I won't stick a kunai up her ass next time we fight though. Naruto chuckled and said, you remind me of a friend of mine. Tenten blinked and asked, who? Naruto said, Yugao Azuki. Remember the proctor who had the cough, Hyatt? Tenten nods and Naruto said, Yugao was his fiancé. He died before the invasion. Killed by a Suna nin, we think, since it was a wind jutsu. After I got back from getting Tsunade, I went and got drunk with 2-chan, and I know some as a way to congratulate me. They got me drunk and tricked me into doing a panty raid on her, though they didn't tell me what it was I was supposed to take, only it was in her top drawer in her bedroom. Apparently they do it to all the new chunin with a different woman each time. Yugao is the best sword master in the village. She kept Bokken in her top drawer, and when I got one in the dark, she sort of sprang a trap on me and threw me down her laundry chute. When I got up in her basement, she attacked me and handed me my ass. After I passed out from the alcohol, she sat and waited, and when I came to, Eva showed me what I did while drunk, and long story short, I fought Yugao again to earn her respect and learned some kenjutsu from her, as well as became her friend. She knows about Eva also. A voice said, you forgot the part where we tricked the 2 idiots into thinking we slept together, as Yugao walked in. Naruto said, hey Yuchin. How much did you hear? Yugao hit him upside the head and asked, what the hell happened, Naruto? I just got back from border patrol and heard you were in the hospital. Naruto rubbed his head and said, had a case of food poisoning. Had my stomach pumped. Nothing big. Yuchin, I would like to introduce you to Tenten, the best thrown weapon user in Konoha. Tenten, this is Yugao Azuki, the best sword master in the village. Tenten said, it's nice to meet you. I didn't know there was another woman who was an expert in her field in the village besides Tsunade-sama. Yugao said, well, my late fiancé was the true master. He taught me all I know, but he was killed before the invasion. As for how much I heard you talking about a kiss and purring. Tenten blushed and Naruto turned a little red, and Naruto said, so how are you doing, Yuchin? Yugao said, all right, came by to see how you were. I was worried about you. Naruto said, yeah, it was an interesting trip. Ran into a member of the 7 again. Kiss him. With Tenten and Eva help, I was able to make him retreat after taking his arm. Then had to fight Danzo-san in a Chunin exam style battle and took his pride and joy and his leg with an exploding senbon. Now I'm in all kinds of political headaches thanks to that old warhorse, and Tenten trying to save me from them got herself involved also. Yugao said, really, what kind of headaches? Tenten said, he has to start his own clan. The fact he's the son of the Yondaime has came out, so he has to take his family name, and now he's engaged to Temari, the daughter of the former Kazekage, who is also the sister to the new Kazekage and me. Yugao blinked and said, you're the Yondaime son. Naruto said, I thought I told you. I don't really remember, my head's killing me right now, but yeah. Yugao said, I don't really remember that well either. I was drinking a lot when we met myself because of the pain of missing Hyatt. So you have to marry that Suna girl. Tenten said, actually he kind of owns her. The battle he had with Sai, Danzo-san, was over ownership of Temari. The Sandaime wanted Naruto to fight for her and Danzo wanted Sai too. Naruto said, it was more of an official order than a choice. Fight Sai or give Danzo control of Suna basically. Yugao frowned and said, I see. Naruto said, I know how you feel, Yuchin, but please don't be upset with me about it. I know you don't like Suna since we think one of them killed Hyatt. If I could, I would free both Tenten and Temari because they both deserve better than me. I care for them like I care for you, but. Tenten was biting her lip and Yugao turned sharply and glared at Naruto and said, what was that? In a demanding voice. Naruto said, Yugao said, you said you care for me, releasing a little key. Naruto said, yeah, as he rubbed his head. Yugao frowned and said, I'm too old for you. Naruto asked, what does age matter if you care for someone? I mean, I know you care for me since you said you wanted me to come back, okay? Yugao said, and you came back to be put in the hospital. Naruto looked down and Yugao sighed and said, so what's your take on this girl? The lunkhead here said that he cares for you but didn't want to marry you. Tenten said, there's more to it than that. It's just before this last mission we only met in the exams, but I guess you could say he grew on me. Yugao sighed and said, yeah, it's hard for him not to grow on you. So you're marrying two girls, huh? Naruto said, that's the plan for now. I'm still trying to figure things out. You got any advice? I don't even know what I am supposed to do being engaged to Temari and Tenten. Yugao coughed and said, and me, as she looked away. Both Naruto and Tenten were wide-eyed and asked at the same time, what? Yugao sighed and said, Godaime-sama and Sandaime-sama briefed me about what happened in Suna. They told me you were worried you would lose your relationship with me because of Temari, so they wanted to explain things. I heard it all from them, including your encounter with Kisame, and I was informed about this Akatsuki that is after you. Because of this I asked what kind of security detail were you and the girls getting, because if something were to happen to Temari or you after the wedding it could result in a war between our villages. They informed me that while you were with your team you had two elites that was going to be your sensei to help prepare you for the future, as well as while you're still not experienced enough to deal with all the threats that might come since your family name is now out. I also voiced my concern about Temari and you because I don't trust Suna. I told them my doubts about what could happen to you when you were alone with her, and they asked me what did they expect for them to do because there was no way they could pay for a security detail full-time during your downtime. I sort of said that I would watch you both to protect you, and they told me that I couldn't do that because she would be legally your wife and have private times between the two of you. I sort of let my anger get the best of me and said that if the only way to protect you was to marry you, then so be it. I didn't know about Tenten here though being in the deal since it was still undecided. Tenten bites her lip and said, so you only want to marry him because you want to protect him from Temari. Naruto looked down and Yugao said, not entirely. That is some of it, but like you said, he grows on you. If he wouldn't have came in my life when he did, I probably would have started taking suicide missions or drank myself to death. He pulled me from my depression and loneliness, and so I want to be there for him. Tenten said, then I don't have a problem with you. A click sound was heard and a small item shot out of Naruto's shoulder, and suddenly a puff of smoke appeared and Eva was standing at the foot of the bed and said, I think you both are forgetting something. I'm his first wife and decide who else gets to be, as she crossed her arms and began to tap her foot. Naruto looked up and said, so it worked. Tenten asked, what's going on? As Yugao frowned looking at Eva. Eva walked over and slapped him upside the head and said, that answer your questions, Naru-kun. Naruto rubbed his head and asked, why is it always my head that takes a pounding? Eva said, because your other head's going to be busy pounding us later. Tenten blushed and said, Mom, making everyone look at her wide-eyed. Eva frowned and said, I'm not your mother Tenten. Tenten bit her lip and Yugao asked, wait, why did she call you mom and how are you here? The last time I saw you, you did not have a real body. Eva said, if you're really going to marry Naruto-kun then you have to keep what you're about to hear a secret. Both of you. As she looked at both women. Yugao nods and Tenten frowns but nods and Eva said, alright, the first thing you need to know is that I was created by Tenten parents before they came to Konoha. My image is made to look after my creator, her mother, but I am a different person than her mom. You can't tell anyone or they will target her dad and her to learn the secret of the armor. Now as for how I am here, this is something Naruto and I originally were working on before this whole marriage thing ever showed up. Naruto said, I view Eva as real as either of you. She's a person herself with thoughts, feelings, everything but an actual body. She pulled me from my darkness when I felt like my world was crumbling around me, but the problem with this is she didn't have a real body. Eva said, so we came up with an idea after we learned Naruto sexy no jutsu was an actual shapeshift instead of a henge, that if there was a way for me to have my own chakra and a way to transfer my mind I might be able to get my own body. Tenten said, Chu Fuan Bunshin. That is why you were wanting to know if you could store chakra so you could give Eva chakra to mold herself to gain a body. Eva said, yeah, that small ball that shot out of Naruto's shoulder was the tested Jiraiya and I created while Naruto was asleep and I redirected some of his chakra into it so that way we could test it. I added a control nanite and a couple of drones to it so that way I could control it from the inside. Being able to read Naruto body the way I could gave me an understanding to do this, though it does have its drawbacks at the moment that we are still working on. Yugao said, so you got your own body. Eva said, for now though this is only a Kichibunshin body so I can only take one hit before the jutsu is finished, but it's a start for what Naruto and I discussed after this whole wedding thing came up. Tenten looked at Naruto and asked, what were you both talking about Naruto? Naruto sighed and said, one of the things I have hated the most about my life is not knowing where I came from and having to learn everything on my own without anyone to help me when I am stuck with something. We're all ninja and I'm worried that if you all actually fall in love with me and we start a family together that something might happen to us like it did my parents and then there would not be anyone there for our children. Eva said, that is where I come in. I won't ever be able to have children and Naruto and I have several ideas that we are exploring to make it where after he dies I will still be able to live on. The idea is that I sort of become the godmother to all the future Namika's children. Since I can repair myself, we thought that I might be able to create a new armor for our family and each of the children will have their own armor to help protect them, and since I record everything around me and I am constantly learning myself, that I can become like a living archive so the children can ask me where they came from or about family skills and jutsu and I can help to train them or answer questions they have. That way the things that Naruto experienced as a child won't happen to his children, grandchildren and so on and so forth. I will become like a bloodline for the Namika's clan. Yugao bit her lip and looked at Naruto and said, you seem to have put a lot of thought into this. Naruto blushed and said, I've had a secret dream besides being Hokage that I have only told Eva. I wanted a family, but after I found out about Kyuubi I was afraid I would never have one. I think that is why when Eva came into my life she became my pillar of strength and she evolved from a simple program into an actual person. Eva frowned and said, I hate to say it but I am nearly out of chakra, as she was covered in smoke and a small ball fell to the bed. Naruto grabbed it and looked at it before placing it on his shoulder and Tenten looked out the window and Naruto said, sorry Tenten. I know this must be hard on you since she looks like your mother and Eva said she is going to change her looks so that way it. Tenten interrupted him and said, just shut up. I know she's not my mother and I am thankful for what she done so I could see and hear my mother once. I was surprised when I heard what you and Eva were saying and I felt like my mom was cheating on my dad, but you're right, she's not my mom. It was just unexpected and I am still trying to figure everything out. I'm engaged now and I never been on a date before. We are talking about kids and I've never even kissed before besides the one I gave you while you were in a coma. Things are going too fast for me right now. I need some time to think things through and get some air. I will come see you tomorrow Naruto. Naruto said, wait. I'm getting out today but I have a council meeting at 10 AM tomorrow over all this. Have you heard about our new senseis yet? Tenten said, no. I thought we were getting Guy-sensei. Naruto said, no, Tsunade after working on me was able to perform a surgery on Lee so he can return to light duty next week and regular duty the week after that. Lee, Neji, and Sasuke are now Team Guy and you, me and Sakura are going to be with Kakashi team and an Anbu who watched me as a kid. Well, I can't tell you anything else about him because he was deep cover and I don't know how much is classified. Tenten said, after everything is done with the council come by my family shop. That will give me time to think. I still want to marry you but I want to slow down and take smaller steps for a while. Naruto said, okay, we will, I promise. Tenten smiled and said, bye, nice meeting you sister, as she left. Yugao watched the door close and then looked at Naruto and said, you really are the #1 surprise ninja. So anything else I need to know? Naruto frowned and asked, are you okay with this? I mean Yugao chuckled and said, Tenten right, just shut up. You worry so much you ramble. Naruto said, sorry. But yeah, there is something else I want to talk to you about. Yugao heard the seriousness in his voice and asked, what is it? Naruto bit his lip and said, I've got a lot of enemies now. Most of them are stronger than me. Both fights I had with Sai and Kisame could have went the other way and I could have died. Tenten and Temari are both strong women like you but they don't have the experience you do. I know you don't trust Temari but she in the same situation as Tenten and you. The three of you are going to be targeted by my enemies and I don't know if I can save you all. Yugao frowned and said, we're all strong Naruto. Naruto said, I know and I hope I am wrong. But if I'm not, there are things I haven't told anyone. Eva knows but she may die with me if we can't figure out a way to do what we were talking about so she may not be able to use the info she has. In that case I want you to watch out for the girls and use what I am about to tell you to protect them and yourself. The three of you first, Konoha second, as he looked into her eyes. Yugao asked, are you asking me to betray Konoha? As she stiffened. Naruto said, it's Konoha that I am afraid of. You would have to be blind to see that hate the people have for me here so please, as he trailed off showing the worry he had in his eyes. Yugao closed her eyes and after several seconds said, very well. Naruto said, if Konoha becomes unsafe for the three of you go to Wave Country. Seek out a woman named Tsunami. She's the daughter of the new feudal lord in Wave. Tell her to take you to Nami Inc. I sent my mission money back to Wave after I returned from my first mission there and she invested it to help the country recover from Gato. She's really good at business and most of the country's growth came from her directing the recovery process and I'm now a silent partner in all the ocean shipping companies in the world as well as several other business. I get 2% off all profit for the companies deposited into an account. I haven't touched the money because it could lead a trail from here to there so I'm saving it for later as a backup or the future if things work out alright. Tsunami is running the business for me and she will help the three of you, after all you would be aunts to her unborn daughter. Yugao eyes got wide and Naruto said, I saved her life from some of Gato men and then after what happened on the bridge the rest of my team ignored me for a few days. She helped me get over my first kill while the others watched over Sasuke. I only found out she was pregnant after I went to Wave this last time to place the memorial stone I ordered for some friends who died. Nobody but her, me and now you know about this and that is the way it is going to stay. Yugao frowned and said, so you're not claiming your child. Naruto said, it's not that. We didn't even have sex. Yugao was now confused and she asked, then how is it that she is with your child when you didn't have sex? Naruto bit his lip and said, while Tazuna came to Konoha to get protection for his bridge Tsunami and her son Inari were still in Wave. People were disappearing all the time in Wave because of the mercs, especially women. Yugao eyes got wide and said, so she was. Naruto nods and said, she told me that if I hadn't killed the two guys that I did then it would have happened again and she most likely wouldn't survive. She was lucky the first time the guy passed out drunk after he finished before he killed her. She hasn't told her father or son she pregnant because she doesn't want him to know what happened to her. I told her if she wanted she could claim I am the father. She agreed so besides her and me, you are the only other one who knows the truth and I will claim she's mine for Tsunami. Yugao asked, why did you tell me about this? Naruto said, you're Anbu. I saw the tattoo. I figured that if you had to take the girls and left Konoha you would want proof it was safe to go to Wave like I asked since you don't become Anbu for being stupid. You needed to know why Tsunami would be willing to risk everything to help you, so that is why I told you. Yugao nods and said, I see. You seem different, Naruto. I can't quite place my finger on it, but you're different than you were when you left. Naruto closed his eyes and said, I'm not sure who I can trust anymore, Yu-chan. The Sandaime ordered me to kill Sai, Danzo-san. I couldn't do it, I couldn't kill a Konoha ninja myself. But I nearly killed him in that fight. After I woke up after the girls knocked me out for being an idiot, the Sandaime told me that it was a test. He told me he didn't know who I was anymore, and from the way he worded it, he basically told me that had I actually followed his orders and killed Sai, then he would have killed me. Yugao's eyes were wide as she heard this. She asked, why would he do that? Naruto said, on the way to Suna I asked to go to Wave. I'm sure he told you since he told you about my fight with Kisame. Yugao nods and Naruto said, the people there treated me with respect like a hero. Children ran up to me wanting me to play with him. Adults showed their respect with either comments or actions. Jiraiya told the Sandaime that it was how I should have been seen in Konoha. Because of this, the Sandaime felt that if it came down to a choice between Wave and Konoha, I would choose Wave. Konoha is my home and I love the village and I would never betray the village. But now because of the way I am seen in Wave and because of Eva, he doesn't trust me. I know he claims it's for my safety, but he placing an extra sensei on my team who has shown that he is loyal to Konoha before even his family. I feel my every action is going to be watched now. That's why I think you were tricked into agreeing to marry me so they could watch my private life as well. Yugao asked, what do you mean I was tricked into marrying you? It was my decision. Naruto chuckled and said, Gigi is called the god of shinobi for a reason. It's not because of his battle skills, though that could be the reason some people think. The real reason is he is skilled enough to get an enemy to do what he wants them to do and think it was their idea. You don't trust Suna because of Hyatt. If you thought I was being influenced against Konoha by Temari, then you would report it to the Hokage. You would be watching for anything that could be considered a danger to me or Konoha, for that reason instantly blaming Suna for it. That means you would be loyal to Konoha above me and the girls for our protection. Gigi realizes this just like I do. You said it yourself, they made you angry through that conversation, showing that you could not do anything until. Yugao frowned and said, until I said I would marry you to protect you. Naruto nods and Yugao sat down in thought for several moments, and Naruto said, no matter what, I will always be held to a double standard. At best I am considered a weapon, and at worst I am considered a threat. If a weapon becomes too dangerous for you to control, then you get rid of it. Gigi afraid that I am getting out of control because of the way I am treated in Wave along with my new abilities thanks to Eva. He wants a way to control me, which is why he revealed the secret of my parents to all of Suna and forced me to fight in a battle that I would be stuck into marring Temari. I think he had it planned the entire time before we left. That is why he chose Tenten to come with us and be on the same team as me. He knew she hated Temari because of her defeat in the Chunin exams and she would jump at a chance to have a rematch against her, so when he said I was going to fight for Temari hand, she started to try and figure out a way to fight Temari, and here we are. Yes, Tenten has feelings for me, but in the end her pride wanted to fight Temari and prove she could defeat her. I was second. Yugao said, you make it sound like we're nothing but pawns in a game. Naruto said, and that is why he is called the god of shinobi. Zabuza told me that most people view ninja as tools to be used without question by our village. He went against his village belief until the very end, trying to change that view. To show that after everything was said and done that we are human first. After his death I reviewed my life and I came across several things that made me question myself. My team, my home, my name, my parents. Everything has been judged on what to say and what to do to keep me in control of the village. He claims that it was for my protection I couldn't know about my father, and I agree, but why couldn't I ever be told about my mother? What was so bad about her that I was told I was an orphan with unknown mother and father? He gave me my mother's last name, but he couldn't tell me who she was. Then there is where I live. My old apartment was set exactly center of Anbu headquarters, the Hokage Tower, and the Uchiha police force headquarters. 1 week after the Uchiha massacre, my old apartment had a gas leak that destroyed only my apartment, and I was moved into the one I am in now, which is exactly center of the Hokage Tower, Anbu headquarters and Root headquarters. Yugao couldn't believe what she was hearing, but the more she thought about it, she couldn't deny what she was hearing, and she looked at Naruto with a shocked look, and Naruto said, like I said. It seems that everything in my life has been set up to control me in some way. Now that you, Temari, and Tenten are becoming involved in my life, that makes all three of you another form of control. After all, you reward good behavior from your pet with a treat that you can later threaten to take away to make sure the pet stays loyal. As he looked out the window, Yugao looked away and asked, if everything you said is true, then why are you going along with it? Naruto was silent for several minutes and said, like I said before, I honestly thought I would never have a family. It's something I have wanted dearly in my life. For now I am being given what I want, so I will play along for now and see where the pieces land. The village lets me live as normal a life as I can with my family. I will remain loyal to the village. If they don't, then I will protect my precious people. No matter what, I am human first. As such, I will protect my family first and my home second. I can always find a new home. I can't replace my family. Yugao asked, why are you telling me all this? It doesn't make any sense. How can you trust me with what you are saying not to tell the Hokage? Naruto said, it's either one of two reasons. Either I trust you with my life because I care for you and I am showing you my loyalty, or I am testing you to see which you would decide, me and the other girls or the village. Yugao bit her lip and asked, which is it? Naruto said, that's something you will have to decide yourself. I'm a little tired, and you said you just got back from a mission, so you should be tired also. Why don't we see each other later? Yugao said, all right, as she got up and walked toward the door. She stopped and said, just so you know, I really do have feelings for you because you helped me through a very hard time in my life. It's not love yet, but it could be. Naruto saw her standing there and he said, I know. That is why I hope the day never comes where I have to decide between my home and my family. I want a family here in Konoha and for my children and grandchildren to grow up here. I hope I am wrong about everything that I told you, and I hope someday you, Temari, and Tenten find love with me and we have a long and happy life, that the village changes and accepts us. But just in case, I want to make sure that those who are precious to me are taken care of. Isn't that what any husband wants for his wife and children? Yugao bit her lip and turned around and walked over and kissed Naruto on the lips, shocking him, and she slowly pulled back and said, you're too damn mature for someone your age. I guess that is why I am falling for you. If you want this marriage to work, then spend time with all three of us, take us out on dates, train with us, get to know us, our likes, dislikes, and treat us with respect and care. You do that and you won't be sorry. Naruto smiled and said, thanks. I'm sorry if I hurt you with what I said. Yugao said, that is what part of being in a relationship is about. Talking about your fears, working through them, and support each other. Naruto said, I guess then I got nothing to worry about. Yugao smiled and said, yeah you do, just wait until all three of us have PMS. You're going to want to fight several S-rank missing nins, then deal with us. After all, we all three are deadly with weapons. Eva appeared in a hologram and said, you know, that might be a new reason to call you Iron Man. All the women in your life carry very deadly weapons which have iron in them. Naruto slapped his head and said, I am going to kill Ero-san for that name later, causing both women to laugh before Eva disappeared. Yugao kissed him lightly one more time and said, see you Foxy, as she left in a swirl of leaves. Naruto sighed and said, woman. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.